The new year is here, and as we welcome new beginnings and map out our game plan for a successful year, we are all curious to know what lies ahead for us this 2025. Now, our guest this morning combines astrology with practices of wellness. Integrative Astrologer Thea Custodio joins us live in the studio. It's a beautiful day, Thea. Good morning and Happy New Year.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here.
Now, Thea, yesterday I was able to interview astrologer Resty Santiago, and he was able to give his predictions for 2025. Now, you are also an astrologer, but you are an integrative astrologer.
Yes.
Could you tell us what that means and how it differs from other astrologers?
Right. So I don't use astrology for forecasting or prediction. I use astrology to help you transform into your best life. So I integrate it with science-based, research-based modalities and also, spiritual modalities to integrate like a more holistic approach to personal development.
It's funny because when you say science-based and then astrology at the same time, some people have their eyebrows raised.
Yes.
So when people have their eyebrows raised, when
Yes.
you say that, what's typically your reply?
Well, foremost, astrology is a science in terms that it's also astronomy. So it's understanding the energetic patterns, the interrelation of what's actually happening within the environment, the conditions within the environment, and actually how the human body, how the person relates and experiences the environment as well, and the energetic themes of the period.
That's so interesting. We saw online that you talk about soul gardening.
Yes.
Can you talk more about that?
So I believe that we are all garden tenders. So, but my passion actually, why I use astrology and all these, research-based methods is that I really passionately believe that we can transform how we relate and live in the world so that we can come about with a more holistic, compassionate approach to, contributing towards a better life and a better way of interbeing. So soul gardening is like being our own garden tenders and just treating our life like our garden. We weed out what no longer serves us. We nourish what serves us. That approach.
So apart from that, you also describe yourself as a former girl boss turned girl moss. Okay.
Girl moss, yeah.
Explain.
So I had like almost 2 decades in corporate.
Yeah.
I was in media, I was in advertising, I was in retail, I worked in digital transformation here and abroad, Singapore, Australia. So that was my girl boss era. At the tip of my career, I was managing around, my gosh, 50 to more than 50 people because it was the pandemic.
Yeah.
I resigned during the pandemic to really concentrate and focus my energy and resources on studying the research-based methods like psychology, neuroscience, biohacking, and astrology.
So right now I understand that you're studying psychology, correct?
Yes.
So how do you combine astrology with nature? Like how do you, say like for me, all I know is that I'm a Taurus.
Right.
So how would you combine that with nature?
Okay, so can I get more context on nature as you, like what do you mean by nature?
Like how do you combine
Your nature, the nature of your personality?
Yes, basically.
Okay, so the way I apply psychology is through Jungian or archetypal psychology. And which is, okay, so archetypal psychology, just, if you've heard of like the Myers-Briggs,
Yes, that one I know.
the Strengths Finder, so it gives you like particular archetypes, which are universal symbols that help you relate with, bigger like energies or bigger personas.
Okay.
So the same way when I call you like your zodiac Taurus, which is just one aspect of your personality, which is like a multidimensional, nuanced way of looking at you. I can't just say that you're a Taurus and then it's a generalized form of your nature as just that particular sign. There's so many elements that make up the whole you. And so I integrate that astrology of you with other archetypes that can also make up you. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
Yes, it does.
That's the first time I've heard of that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, so you don't do predictions. Of course, a lot of people are looking at 2025 as a bit of a new beginning.
Right.
But could you give us a bit of advice on how to approach 2025, given the knowledge that you have, especially for those with, a lot of people look at astrology and think of the star signs that they have.
Right.
What are the approaches do you think that they should adapt, take going to 2025 as we enter a new season of New Year's resolutions, changes,
right.
and people trying to make differences to diet especially.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why?
He's still calling me out.
matamaan ba? What? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Thea.
how about we reframe diet to like a more soul-based diet?
Okay.
Where we, well, I'm really not a fan of, not giving ourselves what we want or what we need, because everything is a balance, right?
Right.
So probably as a recommendation or an invitation for 2025 is really adaptability and opening ourselves up to nuanced perspectives, because we are entering a period of unprecedented change. Like, we have energetic themes that we have never seen before. The last time that we saw such energetic patterns were the French Revolution, the American Revolution, Civil War, World War II. Not saying that we're gonna have, that
A bloody
that kind
change, a bloody revolution.
I
Exactly.
was like, oh my gosh, so scary naman.
Exactly.
She started saying French Revolution. I said, oh.
We have to clarify that because we're not predicting World War III.
We're not.
No, we're not.
We're not. So just clarifying that we're not predicting that. It's just that these are the same energetic themes and patterns. So how I'm approaching this and inviting you to approach this is, it's just pattern recognition.
Okay.
And everything is a cycle. And we're going back to these cycles in time where these are the similar themes that are also coming up. But what's totally different here is because we also have rapid technology at our disposal, which can actually bring about so much fear, but also bring about so much potentiality. So opening ourselves up to these rapid changes can really, really help us. And in terms of diet, give us more, do more of what can actually help our soul grow. So connection to a higher power, whatever divinity or whatever God means for you, spirituality, and practices that actually help you ground into the present moment, just because there's so much erratic change and energy that's coming to the fore.
Now, Thea, what would an integrative astrologer say about how to attract more positive energy for 2025?
So in terms of attracting, invitation to just align, really clarify your intention, clarify your purpose. Why are you here? What is the why behind your why? And step into like a more grounded alignment, because attraction just follows alignment. If you're moving with purpose, synchronicities, what they call manifestations, become so much easier and in flow.
Now, what about negative energy this coming year? How do we combat that?
Okay.
Because you talked about positive energy, so now let's talk about negative
Drive
energy.
away the negative
Yep.
energy. How do we do that?
In terms of driving it away, inviting it as an invitation for, or an opportunity for growth and an opportunity for transformation. Because as with every negative energy, there's positive, there's always a balance. There's yin, there's yang, there's light, and there's dark. And when we just focus on one particular element, which is like, say, just positive, we're forgetting that we are needing to find homeostasis. We're always needing to find the balance between both. So inviting negativity not as, bad yan, nega yan, or like that, but it's giving you an opportunity to really evolve and grow. And now a lot of people, like particularly those with a lot of fixed signs, and when I say fixed signs, these are Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio, there may be some hesitance or resistance to change just because there's a lot of they value their security, they value stability, and they value the comfort and the known. So invitation to really flow into adaptability, mutability, like I said, welcome change as your contribution and your participation to the evolutionary journey that we're here to participate in.
You mentioned it a while ago that we are in a period of extreme change. I think
Yes.
that's fair to say. You also mentioned that there are a few archetypes
Yes.
in terms of the star signs here who are less adaptable to that change.
Yes.
Who do you think will have perhaps the more difficult times? And of course, for those who are more adaptable, who do you think would probably have a more, easier time working through this flow, this change?
So in terms of easier, I'd probably reframe that in a way that there might be more changes that they will experience. So these are the signs, particularly Pisces and Virgo. They're the signs that might, really experience rapid or intense karmic clearing. And when I say karmic clearing, the time that's approaching is an invitation to really get down and dirty with the old patterns and behaviors that actually are on autopilot. And that goes for all signs. Because we are approaching a period in time where we're having this cosmic kick in the butt where what's operating your life? Are you on autopilot? Because if you are, then I'm gonna serve you lessons so that you change and shift your beliefs because you're here to evolve and grow. And so when I mentioned those fixed signs, they're so resistant to change, and so that's just an invitation now. Kind of opened up a bit and lean back a bit and lean in more to trust to a higher power and your own sense of spirituality.
Are there any star signs that you're most curious about how they're going to do in 2025?
Oh gosh, Libra and Aries actually probably for me would have been the two signs that experienced a lot of relationship changes in 2024, 2023. So the past periods were intense transformations in terms of interpersonal relationships. So I'm curious, I'm really curious, and I'm excited to witness how, those people with strong Libra and strong Aries are gonna step up into new beginnings, foundational new beginnings next year.
Well, sorry, what is going to be the difference for Aries?
Are you an Aries?
Are you an Aries?
I am. I was
So I was listening to this.
How is it? Because there might have been a lot
it's funny because I asked Resty yesterday to give me his predictions on what my 2025 is going to be. So he asked for my birthday, time of birth, and everything. And he mentioned that 2 years ago, things were heavy for me as an Aries.
Yeah.
But things are going to be lighter this year.
Yes.
And you mentioned 2023, 2024 relationship change. I did not have any major relationship changes, but a lot of changes happened in my life. So it was kind of heavy.
Yeah.
So he said that this year it's going to be lighter. So maybe that is what you are saying as well, right?
Yes, and probably because you were an Aries, so next year, in the next 2 years, Virgos, those with strong Virgos, and actually also those with strong Sagittarius and even Gemini, are going to experience some rapid transformation and rapid growth. And oftentimes, we don't change if things are happy. We usually change because we kind of don't have a choice.
Yeah,
we're
we
pushed
need
to the
to.
wall,
Yes,
and we need
yes.
to. So these signs might probably, in terms of the energetic themes and patterns, are gonna be pushed to the wall and invited to creatively, release or have some. There's a creative invitation for them to adapt into what's being forced upon them.
It's funny because every time we talk about astrology and people ask me about my star sign, they panic because I'm a Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, and a Scorpio rising.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand any of this. Could you explain for especially our viewers who are just new to this?
Okay.
What that
Cancer,
means,
sun, what?
with the sun
Moon?
rising.
Yeah, because that's why they ask about the
All I
time you
know
were
is I'm a
born.
Taurus.
Yes.
That's it.
That's why they ask about the time you were born.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
changes, and at the same
Yes.
time, there's also the year and
Yes.
everything.
So when you were asking me about Taurus, I was saying that's just one of just one element that comprises the whole of you. And there's this tenet in astrology where we believe, well, actually it's not a belief, but the science of the law of correspondence, where what is happening above is also happening below, as within, so without. So it's just an energetic correspondence.
Yeah.
So the archetypes that I'm referring to in astrology are the planets. And each of these planets, like all the astronomical planets that we have, even the sun and the moon, they have their own energetic qualities, they have their own archetypes, they have their own expressions.
Yeah.
And the basis of astrology is when you take your first breath, it's spirit that actually descends into matter because you inhale the energetic qualities of that particular moment in time.
Yeah, so that's the rising,
Yeah.
the moon.
So whatever
and the
is rising
sun.
in the horizon is also rising in you.
Yeah.
So scorpionic qualities like
look
intensity,
at that.
passion
Yeah.
are rising in you.
Yeah. So sorry, when we have all of those and people are asking for predictions, that's what we're showing there right now, a Scorpio,
Yeah.
there on our screen. Normally, it's very broad. It's
Yes.
never specific,
Yes.
especially on predictions like that. Like here you're saying, for Scorpio, discipline, health routines, and self-care, transforming daily work-life balance.
Yes.
When you have predictions like that,
Yes.
it always comes to the caveat.
Yes. Yes, always.
So when you take a look at for example, this for Scorpio, what types of people need to take this in?
So those with a lot of Scorpio elements, those with a lot of Aries also. When I say when I do these predictions or when I get invited to give these predictions, I look at it in such a way where I look to the planet that actually holds a lot of energy for that sign and check what that planet is doing. So Mars is the ruler of Scorpio,
Yeah.
for example, and Mars is a strong Mars right now, but it's not a comfortable Mars because Mars is retrograde. So meaning there's just this perception because it's so close to the Earth that it's moving backwards, but in truth it's not.
Okay.
And when planets are retrograde and they're moving backwards, and I think it's so popular when we talk about Mercury retrograde
Yeah,
because
that
it
was going to be
happens
my
all the
question
time.
because I always hear about that, and I feel like sometimes people use it as an excuse.
Right,
Like,
no,
it's just
no,
Mercury's in retrograde, and I'm like, girl, what? I don't
But
understand.
it actually is true.
It is true.
It really affects people's moods and everything.
Yes, from
Yeah.
an energetic perspective, definitely. Because these are, the gravitational pull of these planets are are stronger because when planets are retrograde, they're closer to the Earth.
Yes.
And so in terms of like the energetic pattern, Mercury, for example, rules communication, thought, how we perceive things, how we socialize. So all these, how we travel. So all these things, when the planet is very close to us and the gravitational pull is strong, it gets affected. The same with Mars, it's the planet of energy, it's the planet of drive and action. But it's close and it's retrograde, so it can be like this feeling of a slow burn, but also there's a sense of agency, but we kind of have no idea what to do first, but it's just so droggy, so everyone feels tired probably, everyone feels like they're just sleeping a lot, and they're questioning, okay, now what am I gonna do tomorrow, what am I gonna do with my life, like these sorts of questions, just because the planet that rules our drive and initiation and action is kind of slowing down.
So we've been showing a bunch of the predictions and pieces of advice that you've given to the different star signs a while ago.
Yeah.
But at the same time, siguro we can roll more of that there for those star signs that we
Yes.
missed a while ago.
Yes.
But you mentioned change as being the biggest theme in 2025.
Yes.
If there's something as general as you can put out there, how people can adapt to change and how people can really embrace even the discomforts, which is
Yeah.
counterintuitive to be
Yes.
fair.
Yes.
What would that message be?
It would be really grounding in your spirituality practice, like having a devotional practice, understanding your morning rituals. And it's a transformation or an invitation to reframe control and judgment into just habitually creating routines that serve you. Just because there's so much uncertainty and unknown, what we can do is just really focus on the present moment and make sure that we're grounded to experience the fullness of what's in it, what's there.
That's so interesting.
I know.
I'm learning a
That's
lot
so
today.
interesting. But
Thea, for those who are setting their intentions for this year, because a lot of people are
Yes.
going to be, having those New Year's resolutions, their aspirations for 2025, is there any advice that you can give on how we can really set our intentions for this year and, stay at it?
Okay, beautiful question. What's coming to me right now is introducing the 7 layers of why. Just because we have a slow burn to the start of the year, we can really use the cosmic invitation of contemplation and grounding to have this exercise of asking our why 7 times. Why do you want to do what you do? You get an answer. Usually the first 3 answers are complicated, they're quite complex, like da da da. And then you ask yourself again, why? Until you get to the 7th layer where it's usually just a word and it really, really clarifies your intention. So it's just a deepening of your intention so you can step in more alignment and inspired action as we go about the year.
Thea, we have a lot of questions for you. We're not done, to be honest, asking questions. If ever people want to reach out to you, how can they do so?
So I'm quite active on Instagram, not so much on TikTok, but I'm also there. It's Soul Soil TLC. You can also find me on YouTube and Facebook. It's Soul Soil Cosmos.
So, soil, soul, cosmos.
So, yeah.
That is
That's a
a
tongue
tongue
twister.
twister I did not expect this morning.
Soul soil. Say that
Soul-
10 times real fast.
Wala na.
Well, either way, you can go follow Thea
Yes.
Custodio there.
Thank
She
you,
is an
Thea. Thank you
integrative
so much.
Thank you for
astrologer.
having
Thank you so
me.
much for joining us.
Good morning.